Right, so welcome everybody to our Monday morning sunrise class. Love seeing you all. Some of you in the garden on this lovely sunny morning. So we're starting to turn towards looking at our inner critic, which can be an interesting week. We've done a little bit of this in the past if you did the mindfulness with me the last term. So some of it might be familiar, but we'll go over some kind of other concepts as well. But 45-minute class, so really want to get you moving. So we're actually going to start seated. And if you did have a block or a brick or something like this, it would be useful. What we've used in the past is like a big book, so something quite thick can work. Basically, at one point, what we're going to do is stand on it and swing the leg. So if you can find something like that, that would be really useful. Just pop it to one side and then come up to stand. So we'll start with feet on the ground, outsides of the feet pressing into the mat. Hands could come into prayer if that feels like a nice place to settle the arms. Otherwise, they could be beside the body with the palms facing forward and maybe closing the eyes if that feels okay. So a kind of standing arrival, standing meditation if you like. You might have a little rock backwards and forwards. You might spread the toes, plant them down. And as you press down through the outsides of the feet, kind of feel what happens all the way up through the legs. And feel if you could connect up through the thighs, just above the kneecaps. And then as you get awareness around the pelvis and the lower back, does drawing the tailbone down enable you to take any weight off of the lower back? So for some people it is the other way, but for the majority of us, it's lengthening the tailbone, drawing the belly in, and then that will take any weight off of the lower back. And you just start to feel maybe a little bit longer. And then as you inhale, you can have that reaching up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, soften down through the shoulders and feel as if you're kind of sinking back down into the feet, into the base. Do that a couple of times, inhaling. And exhale. Feel that you can just be here in your body with your breath just as it is now. Just follow that natural rhythm of the breath and let yourself settle, even though there might be like a little sway backwards, forwards, side to side, just letting yourself settle here for a few breaths, a few moments, and just checking in, see how you are, see how things are today. And on a physical sense, we're going to work with standing balances this week in our flow classes. So kind of strong legs, working with the legs, strong grounding. So in yoga we talk about Mula Bandha, so that's basically your pelvic floor, and Uddiyana Bandha below the navel. And we also have Muladhara, which is your root chakra, which allows you basically to feel connected, to feel secure, to feel self-assured, if you like. And working energetically with that area and physically, so working with the legs and what connects down into the earth, we can begin to kind of begin to bring in maybe more self-confidence and letting go of self-doubt. And that's often where those emotions come in when the critic comes in, when we're criticizing ourselves, when we have that little voice in the back of the head that maybe tells us we're not good enough, we're not doing enough. And it can be sometimes really loud, and it can be sometimes a little whisper. But the idea is that we become more and more aware of it, so that we have choices. You know, with all of this, all that we've been doing the past few weeks, it's all about building awareness around what is happening, how we are feeling, what our thoughts are, and if needs be, changing it. So it's just about building that foundation. And kind of on a physical sense, we'll do that today. So take another long, deep breath in. And then as you exhale, release the hands beside the body, so the palms are facing forward. And then as you inhale, reach the hands up to the top, really opening up through the shoulders. And as you exhale, bring the hands back down into the heart space and draw the belly in. So we'll do that a couple of times just to begin to awaken the shoulders. Inhale the hands out to the sides. And exhaling down into prayer. Do that a couple more times. Inhale. Exhaling. And each time you exhale, there's like a draw in through the belly, a sinking down into the feet. Inhale. And exhale. And then the next time, inhaling up. Interlace the fingers, press the palms away, really reach up. You might feel that you could straighten the arms a little bit, but maybe there's still a bend into the elbows. Take an inhale, stay grounded through the feet, and as you exhale, fold over towards the right side. So a little stretch along the left. Take an inhale, come back to the center. As you do this, try to stay central on the feet. So you're not kind of going over onto that left foot too much. Really press down through the right. Inhale to the center. Do feel free to go with your breath. Always being guided by the breath. Inhale. And exhale. And then take an inhale, come back to the center. And as you exhale, release the hands behind, interlace. Take an inhale, draw the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, just draw the belly in. So really connect in through the belly. Take another inhale there. And then as you exhale, folding from the hips, little bend into the knees. And then release the head as you come down. And you might find you can release the hands over the back. But go easy. Remember, for those of you that have been doing the early morning classes, I always say, body can be a bit more tight in the morning. You might notice that, so you might need to ease off more than you normally would. And just go slowly and really caring for the body. And then press through the feet and take an inhale, and we'll come all the way back up to the top. Reach the hands up. And as you exhale, bring the hands into prayer at the heart center. We'll bring the hands back down beside the body, and then we'll just kind of heavy arms, moving the arms side to side. Make sure you have space so that you can just be loose with the arms, letting that go. And it might be small to begin with, but then you could start to make it bigger. If you can still be aware of the feet, so really grounding down through the feet. You might spread the toes a couple of times. That always helps me to kind of have that grounding down. And if you are outside, even better to do this just on the grass. And as you connect up through the legs, so keep a little bit of connection into the thighs. And try to make this movement come from the shoulders and the torso rather than the hips. So see if you can keep the hips fairly level. They don't move too much. They probably will move a bit, but more of a release into the shoulders. Really heavy. The head might follow. And any tightness or tension that might be held there in the shoulders, in the arms, and maybe even the neck begins to just soften away. And slowly slow down, just gradually coming back to that stillness. And then grabbing your brick or your very big book and bringing right foot on top of that. What I like to do is have the toes over the top of the brick, because that allows a kind of gripping and then you don't feel like you're going to fall off in any way. But you're really grounding down into that brick, and then press the heel away on the left foot, and it's really just that swinging. So swing the arms and swing the leg. So you're getting like mobility into that left hip. And it doesn't need to be a big swing. And if you feel a bit off balance and you do have a wall near you, even kind of just one finger on the wall can be useful. But there's kind of a heaviness in that leg. And it might get bigger, but it doesn't have to. So just see what would be right for the body. And again, it's kind of that awareness down into that right leg. You know, feeling that that is grounding down into the earth. You're connecting into the glute, into the thigh. Strong leg. And then slowly, slowly that slows down. And then just come off your brick and just stand for a moment. Maybe you just close the eyes if that feels okay, or take the gaze to the tip of the nose. And just see how that feels. You might kind of get a sense of those subtle energies shifting through the legs. One leg might feel slightly different to the other. Just being aware of that. And then moving your book over to the other side. So left foot can come on. If the toes over the top is helpful for you, then do that, but just check in. Maybe it's not. Maybe you need the whole foot on the brick. And then continue on that side. So have a little bit of pressing through the right heel a little, so that you're not going to bring the toes down onto the ground. And you might start off slow and steady. And again, if you just need like one finger on a wall, then do that. If that just gives you a bit more balance. Standing balances can be tricky, you know, and they can change throughout the day as well. So for some people, you know, in the evening they can find that standing balances are almost impossible. Might be better in the morning. So just go where you need to. But just feel that this is a release, a letting go. And then slowing down bit by bit. And then standing off your brick and just pausing for a moment, hopefully feeling a bit more balance through both legs, both hips, both arms, both shoulders. And then move your brick out of the side, come to the top of your mat if you're not there already, and we'll begin to have some soft flow through here. So as you inhale, reach the hands up to the top, draw the belly in. As you exhale, fold forward. There's a little bend into the knees as you come all the way down. Take an inhale for your half lift, whether it's hands on ankles or shins. And step back with the right leg. Bring the right knee down. Left knee over ankle. Take an inhale, sweep the hands up to the top. We won't stay there today. We're going to exhale to bring the hands back down. Stepping back, you can go straight to your down dog, or if you'd like a vinyasa, exhale, bring the knees, chest and chin. And then drop the belly and come into a little cobra. So it doesn't need to be a big cobra, but keep the elbows into the body. And then travel back through your child's pose and into your down dog. Take an inhale in your down dog and lift the pelvis. And as you exhale, soften down. So allow the head to drop between the arms, just easing out any tension in the back of the body. Gaze forward, step the right foot forward, drop the left knee, knee over ankle at the front. Inhale to sweep the arms up, strong through the arms. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back down. We're going to step forward with the left leg. So tuck the toes, stepping forward, and then into your half lift. So inhale, and then exhale, fold in over the legs. Press through the feet, bend into the knees as you inhale to come all the way back up to stand. And exhale to bring the hands into the heart space. So we'll do that again. Inhale, reaching the hands up. And exhale, folding from the hips all the way back through. Take an inhale for your half lift. Exhale, step left leg back. Drop the knee, right knee over ankle. Inhale to sweep to your lunge, just staying connected through the belly as well. Exhale to come back down. Stepping back for a vinyasa or going straight to your down dog. Keep the belly connected, keep the elbows drawing in, traveling back. Lovely. In your down dog, take an inhale, lift the pelvis. So get a little bit more length through the spine. And exhale, soften in. Gaze forward, step left leg, drop right knee. Inhale to sweep up. And exhale to fold down. Stepping right foot forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Press through the feet. Inhale to come all the way back up. And exhale to bring the hands into the heart space. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Coming down into your chair, so either feet together or feet hip distance, whatever works for you. As you exhale, just pause and sink into that a little bit more and do all of those little checks. Draw the belly in, lengthen tailbone, knees drawing back so the knees are not over the toes. Weight is into the heels. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, fold all the way through. Inhale for your half lift. And we'll step back with the left leg and plant that foot onto the mat to inhale briefly into our warrior one. And then we'll exhale and open it out briefly to warrior two. And then we're going to straighten that right leg and set up for trikonasana. So roughly heel to heel alignment, straighten up through that right leg, pelvis neutral and belly drawing in, palms facing forward. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, reverse that first. So reaching that right hand up, open up through the right side. Take another big inhale, and then as you exhale, reach that right hand as far forward as you can. So you're keeping that length on the right side as you come forward and down, and then the right hand might just be below the knee so that that left shoulder can stay open, and you can maybe start to gaze up towards the left hand. But equally, any issues there in the shoulder or anywhere else, you could bring the left hand to the lower back. But keeping the chest open, the left side of the chest is reaching up towards the sky. And be aware of the feet grounding into the mat. And see if you can just kind of let go of the toes. Sometimes when we work with the legs and the feet, we can really grip the toes into the earth. So try to let them go. Give them a wiggle every now and again. And then take another inhale. And as you exhale, look down to the right foot. You're going to step that left foot halfway in. And then if you do have a brick, it can be useful to bring it to the top of the mat, or above the toes. Plant the hand in. We're going to go into half moon. So you're pressing into that right leg, beginning to lift the left behind you. Press through the heel. And basically what you're trying to do here is keep that openness through the chest to the sides. But equally, if you're still kind of down or maybe halfway up, just have a play around with where that right leg is. So begin to draw up through the kneecap, connect in through the thigh. Don't worry too much like where that left hand is. Balances are tricky, particularly if you're outside actually. So take your time. If you're kind of falling around, let that be. Just play. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, release that left hand down, but can you keep the left leg lifted? So we're going to square back through the hips, and maybe you're just on the fingertips. And as you inhale, feel that you could lift up through the left leg, but also draw up through the right thigh. Perhaps. Little bit, like little bits at a time. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, draw the belly in, and we're going to step that left leg back, float it back, bend into the right leg to bring it all the way back. So now you're into like a high lunge legs, but the fingertips are on the mat. You're pressing back through the left heel, opening up through that leg. Pause for a moment. You can be bent into the right leg. Breathing there. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the shoulder blades away from the head. Inhale. And exhale. And then on your next inhale, we'll step forward with the left leg. And as you exhale, fold in. So pausing there, you could take opposite elbows, have a little rock side to side. You could just bring the elbows onto the knees. So find a place that would be right for you to settle into. So that kind of subtle undercurrent of self-criticism and doubt and judgment that we can often feel is there in the background. It can feed our body and our minds with the stories that like we're not enough, we're not doing enough. And you know, self-criticism is a really common occurrence around humans. And I think it's got a lot to do with that negativity bias, you know, never being enough. So there are lots of things that we can do to be able to start to overcome this. And obviously one of them is becoming aware of it first so that we can lessen its kind of impact on us. Maybe you're already aware. Maybe you've got things that you go, oh yeah, I know that I do that. It's kind of in the background. Bring it to the surface. Let's see what it's saying. And then we can start to ask it questions like, is this true? You know, and really kind of investigate it. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, release the hands towards the earth. Bend into the knees. Going to come back to your chair, so maybe feet together or feet hip distance, whatever works best for you today in that chair. So you're reaching the hands up. And as you exhale, just soften back down, draw the belly in, lengthen the tailbone. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, fold forward again, all the way back through. Inhale for your half lift. And then we'll step back with the right leg. Plant the foot onto the mat, bending into the left. Take an inhale briefly into your warrior one. Exhale into your warrior two. And then straighten that left leg and set up for your Trikonasana. So have a look at the legs. You know, you don't want them too wide in your Trikonasana. You want heel to heel alignment. You want to be pressing down through the outside of the right foot, engaging the thigh. Reach through the hands, palms facing forward. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, reverse or reach that left hand up. I find this useful to feel that openness through the left side so that when I come forward, I'm not collapsing onto the left side. Take an inhale. And when you exhale, you're reaching forward as far as you can. Reach, reach, reach. And then the right hand comes up. And you just settle into that for a few breaths, but feel that you're connecting down through the legs. Draw up through that kneecap, opening up through the right side, and of course, nice deep breaths. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, look down to the left toes. Going to step a little way in with that right foot. And if you do have something to prop the hand onto above the foot, then begin to press into the foot, lifting the right leg, just seeing where you might be able to go on that side. But press through the right heel. I certainly find that's helpful because it engages that leg. It's not floppy. And keep lengthening through the tailbone as well. And pay attention to that standing leg. Yeah, well done. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, keep the right leg lifted and bring the right hand down. If you can then square back off through the hips, so drop down through the right hip. Take an inhale. Exhale, drawing in and drawing up through that standing leg. Take another inhale. Bending into the left leg now. Control that as you bring that right foot back to the back of the mat. And then you're into that kind of runner's lunge, you could maybe call it. So you're pressing back through the heel, but the left knee is over the ankle. So just check in with that. And the left hip could even draw in a little. Have like just an energetic drawing in of the hip. Pressing back through the right heel. Breathing there. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then the next time that you inhale, step that right foot forward, strong legs, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale back to your chair. And then exhale to come to stand. Pausing there, take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. So in these early morning classes, it's always really nice to consider how we want our day to be. And particularly now, Monday morning, it's summer, a new season. How do we want all of this to pan out? What do we want our day to be like? What do we want our week to be like? Setting that intention. Drawing in what it is you need and what your heart desires. Remember repeating it to yourself if that's useful, and it's words, but it's always positive present tense. So I am happy, I am loving, I am joyful. Whatever it is that you just want to be more, what is it you want? Not what you want to get done, which can often be the way that the way our mind turns to, and that's often to do with the self-critic as well, about how much we should be ticking off of our to-do list. So then we're going to spread the toes, plant them down into the earth, become aware of that left leg in particular, really draw up through the thigh and the glute. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, draw the belly in, lift the heel on the right, knee out to the side. So moving into tree, and then the sole of the foot maybe on the lower leg, maybe on the thigh. Try to avoid that knee if you can, because sometimes just a little bit of pressure against the knee isn't the best thing for it. And then find a place where you can just pause. So don't worry too much where the leg goes. Probably more important just to be able to get that pausing. And then you can use the breath, so even though you're kind of still here, feel that when you inhale, you're lifting up through the crown of the head. As you exhale, bandha connects, so both bandhas connecting in with one another, shoulders softening, and that foot drawing back down into the earth. So it's said when we're fully grounded within ourselves, we can have that self-confidence. We can release the self-doubt. And that inner critic, it might not go away completely, but it no longer controls us. So it's knowing that who we are and what we do is more than enough. There is actually nothing that we need to change there. Often it's our perception about ourselves that needs to change rather than us. So on your next inhale, bring the hands up to the top. Exhale, opening them out to the sides. Take an inhale, maybe closing the eyes as you exhale. Just see how that is. Inhale. Exhale. Take an inhale, bring the hands back up to the top. And exhale to bring the hands back to the heart. I'm going to draw that right knee into the center. Try not to bring the foot down if you can. And then lengthen that foot away. So press through the heel. You might bring the hands onto the hips. Does that, give you a sense of where the hips are? Can you draw that right hip down? Can you lift the foot a little bit higher? Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, release that leg, but try not to bring it down if you can help it. We're going to bring it behind for our dancer's pose. So that standing leg, that left leg is still really strong. You're going to reach around, take hold of the instep, or take hold of the ankle. So I prefer the instep because it helps me to open that right shoulder, but I know not everybody likes that. So do which one is best for you. And then draw the knees back together again. Take an inhale, reach that left hand up. So you're really finding that length and that reaching up. And remember from last week, we were creating that openness through the front of the body. Try to do the same here. Your inhale opening, it probably will become a little bit of a back bend. Make sure that's okay. And then begin to kick the foot into the hand. Just a little at a time. Try not to fold forward just yet. So stay upright, kicking the foot in, inhaling, and then maybe exhaling and beginning to fold. But you're keeping that openness through the front of the body, obviously keeping the standing leg strong. Play around with it. See how that is. Lovely. Nice deep breath. Take an inhale. And then exhale, release. Oh, give that leg a shake, that standing leg. Release off. Lovely. So doing all of that on the other side. So spreading the toes, plant the feet down, connecting up through the right leg, right glute, lifting the heel on the left. Draw the knee out to the side, so that creates that openness through the pelvis, and then take the foot where is right for your tree pose on that side. Maybe the hands come back to prayer, and you have that pausing there. Just that feeling that actually nothing much to do here, but just to pause and breathe. And as you inhale, there's like a little bit of a lift. Exhale, drawing in. And as you pause, you can consider, do I criticize myself? Do I tell myself I shouldn't be feeling a certain way, or I should be doing more, or I should be doing different things? And the idea with these questions is to understand that you're being too harsh on yourself, without seeing the fact as a criticism in itself. So it's just an aid to awareness rather than a sign of success or failure. So take another inhale, reach the hands up to the top. Exhaling, opening the hands out, opening your branches, and really feeling that rooting down, that grounding. And each exhale can be that drawing in of bandha, connecting to the belly. Inhale. And exhale. Maybe closing the eyes, just for a split second. Is that possible? Take an inhale, come back to the center with the hands. Exhaling, drawing down. Bring the knee back into the center. Keep the foot lifted and press through the heel. So you're connecting all the way up. And maybe hands come to hips at that point, and then you can draw that left hip down. Chest is still nice and open. The breath is still flowing. Drawing up more through that standing leg if you need to, if it's beginning to flop away. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, that foot coming behind. And then taking hold to where is right. Instep or ankle, draw the knees back together. Take an inhale, reach the right hand up. So at that stage, you're opening up through the front of the body. Tiny little back bend perhaps. And then begin to kick the foot into the hand. So the knee moves away. Make sure the knee is in line with the other knee, so it's not out to the side, so that left knee is not drawing out. And then you slowly begin to fold into that, but keep that foot kicking into the hand. And you really feel like you're still open through the front of the body. So don't worry where you go in that. You want that standing leg to be working hard. You're opening through the front of the body, and also that left thigh. Take a deep breath. And slowly exhale, release. Give it a shake. Well done. And then we'll flow down to sit. So take an inhale, reach the hands up. And as you exhale, fold all the way through. Take an inhale for your half lift. And stepping back, so either through a vinyasa, or you can just to child's pose, to down dog. Choose where would be right. Lovely. And then from your down dog, you can gaze forward, take an inhale to step the feet into like a cross-legged or seated, and then release the legs forward. So legs long, press back through the sit bones at the back, press back through the heels at the front, but also have a little bit of pressure through the outsides of the feet as well. So as if you were standing. Sometimes if you just press through the heels, the sides of the feet can move away. So just see if you can get that connection, and it will change what's happening all the way up through the legs. And then bring the hands beside the hips, take an inhale, feel that lift and that length through the body. But as you exhale, shoulders soften, belly draws in, and you feel that kind of earthiness back down into the ground. Inhale, you're lifting up, but exhaling, drawing down. And kind of the more that we can kind of draw into our center and ground into the earth, the more that we find we can grow and flourish, because then things don't bother us. You know, there will be challenges, there will be stresses, there will be things that come along that kind of try to send us off balance, but they can't, because we're deeply rooted, deeply grounded. So just like a big oak tree, that's what I always think of, these big oak trees, storms come, nothing happens. You know, they might lose a branch or two, but that's it. They're able to stay just as they are. And that's kind of what we're trying to cultivate through awareness and through our mindfulness practice. So yeah, things maybe will be a bit uncomfortable at times, but we let the storm come, and then we let it go again. So take an inhale, reach the hands up to the top. And then as you exhale, a folding forward. Keep the legs engaged. Bring the hands down to wherever they land. So it might be below the knees, might be further down. But as you inhale, it's like that lifting and that lengthening up through the back of the body. And as you exhale, you're folding in. So use that dynamic of the breath to ease you into that. Don't worry where you go. Really, really doesn't matter. Take your time. The breath guiding you. Breath always there. So there are many steps that we can use to begin to release this inner critic. And one of them is to practice forgiveness. So really stop punishing ourselves for our mistakes. And accepting that we're not perfect. You know, nobody is perfect. And we don't have to be either. So when we do make mistakes, being gentle on ourselves. And that's probably one of the biggest steps. Being aware of mistakes, but then learning from them, seeing them as an opportunity to actually make a difference in the future. So when you're ready, take an inhale, reach forward with the hands all the way up to the top. And exhale, bringing the hands down. Bring the hands behind you, bend into the knees, press into the feet, and take an inhale. If it's okay for the wrists and the shoulders, lift the pelvis. And you might stay there for a few breaths. You might rock backwards, forwards. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, release back down. Bringing the hands to the backs of the thighs, moving into boat. So find that little flat bit of the sit bones, lift the chest long through the back, and then begin to lift the feet to kind of knee height. So see where that's possible there. Take an inhale, long spine, draw the belly in as you exhale, maybe release the hands. So maybe feeling that connection into Bandha a little bit more there as you release the hands, but you can always bring the hands back to the thighs. Remember, there's layers, there's like options to this. Keep the upper chest open, take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, bring the soles of the feet together and have a little fold forward. Allow the knees to go out to the side, folding forward, pausing there. Take an inhale. And exhale. And another thing that we can do is have a growth mindset. So really turning mistakes and things that we feel we haven't done quite right, or when things are not going as well as we kind of expected, seeing it as an opportunity to grow. And I think our current situation is definitely one to call on for this. So yeah, things might not be going quite as you planned over the last 3 months, but actually, what have you learnt? What opportunities has it given you? So I know for me, I would not be teaching online like this. I would not be on YouTube. I would not be doing recorded videos. It just, I always had it in the back of my mind I would do, but I never would have got round to it. So that has been my growth, and I've seen that as a way to evolve and change rather than a stress, even though it was a stress in the beginning. Take an inhale, come back up, draw the knees in, and bring the hands behind again and just rock the knees side to side. And then coming down onto your back, draw the knees in, and we'll move into a twist. So if you do have a favorite twist that you love, go with that one. Otherwise, you could bring the hips over to the right a little, draw the knees in, and then bring the knees to the left. The other options with twist is to lengthen that left leg and bring the right knee down to the left. And that just creates a slightly deeper twist, and it's just slightly different as well. But that's not great for everyone, I know. So just do the one that feels right for you. Either one, allow that left shoulder to move over to the left a little bit more so that the shoulders can ground and that right shoulder can come down. You might be in cactus arms, you might have the arms away from the body, or somewhere else that just makes sense. But just have a few breaths there. See if you can allow the body to settle with no kind of pulling and striving. And another step for releasing the inner critic is gratitude, which obviously we did last week. Gratitude is so powerful. So rather than kind of wishing for what we maybe do not have, there is strength in kind of appreciating what we do have right now, as hopefully you started to feel last week. Just focusing on our blessings, we have that gentler inner voice, and we kind of move away from the shortcomings of who we are, and what we do, and our outer world, and allowing it to be as it is, And I think a lot of it is moving towards that positivity in our life rather than allowing the brain to stay with the negative, because that's what it's programmed to do. So we need to remember that that's what it does, so we can shift it, we can change it. So take an inhale, come back to the center, and then shifting the hips and moving to the other side. And then softening there, and just see, do you need to roll that right shoulder over to the right a little bit more so shoulders can be a bit more level on the ground, and then that twist can happen a little bit more easeful perhaps. So really ultimately what we want to do here is to be more self-compassionate, to have self-love, to know that we are worthy. And although we don't want to stop striving and working towards our goals, we try to release some of the expectations that we might have of ourselves. So be mindful when those difficult emotions do arrive. And forgive yourself that you are just human. And accepting yourself, you are perfect just the way you are. And, maybe you could have done better, but you probably will next time, because you've brought awareness around whatever it is. So take another inhale, come back to the center. Bringing the feet back down, moving into brief Shavasana. Maybe you keep the knees bent or you lengthen the legs. Release the weight of the head and release the eyes and the space between the eyes. Release the jaw, the tongue. Release the chest, shoulders. Let the arms be heavy, maybe beside the body or on the body. Let the belly soften. And the legs and the feet be heavy. The whole body just resting here. And your whole body being felt, being heard. Often the critic is in the mind, is in the thoughts. So when we draw our awareness down into body and breath, we just start to move away from that voice and rather listen to the wisdom of the body, the wisdom of the heart. And know that that is who we really are, beyond the thoughts. Take another long, deep breath in. And exhale. And then slowly bring movement into fingers and toes. Have a little rock side to side. Slowly come back. Pausing with hands in Anjali Mudra at the heart center and just drawing back in what you wanted to, maybe you wanted to, what the summer, maybe you've had reflections on how you want your summer to be, or just simply how your day is going to be. Drawing that in, reminding yourself of that, and knowing you can come back to that throughout the day when you have little pauses. Deep intentional breaths just reminding you. Closing with one Om, take a deep breath in. Om. you for your practice. Namaste.